What's up guys, in this video we're going to break down whether you should lie to get laid and what are the general ethics that you should have when it comes to dating. Did you guys know that according to YouTube analytics, over 70% of the people who watch our videos have not subscribed to the channel? So before we get into this video, I want all of you guys to hit the subscribe button and comment below, I subscribed, and we will do our best to personally respond to every single comment. All right, so I'm gonna preface this video by saying that ethics are somewhat subjective, right? What might be okay for one person is gonna be totally unacceptable for another person. In this video, I'm just gonna tell you my ethics and explain to you my logic behind them and why I truly believe that this set of ethics is what's gonna give you the most long-term success. So when it comes to lying, I'm okay with white lies. But that's very different than substantial lies. So a white lie might be something like, if you're 10 minutes late to a date and a girl asks you, and the reason you're late is because you were like fucking stuck on a toilet because you had diarrhea, instead of telling her that, you're like, oh, I hit some traffic. Or let's say, for example, you live 15 minutes away from the place, the girl's like, hey, how much further is it? And you're like, oh, it's like 10 to 12 minutes, right? That is a white lie. Or for example, let's say you're 5'11" and you say 6 foot on Tinder. Again, that's another white lie. Now that is quite different than substantial lie. Substantial lie is if you're like 5'5" and you say you're 6 feet on Tinder, right? That is a substantial lie. Or for example, if the girl asks you, what are you looking for? And you just want to fucking smash and move on, but you tell her you're looking for a relationship and under the pretense she fucks you. Or for example, you lie about your career because you're secretly unemployed, right? Those are substantial lies. And the real litmus test that I use is if after you fuck the girl, you told her that you were lying about this thing, is she gonna find it funny or is she gonna get pissed off, right? So, for example, after you have sex with a girl and you're like, hey, listen, the real reason I was late is because I was stuck on the toilet and I was really embarrassed to tell you. Like, do you think a girl's gonna get pissed off? She's probably gonna have a laugh at that. Or if you're like, hey, I gotta be honest about something. I know I said 6 foot on Tinder, but I'm really 5'11". She's probably gonna find that funny, right? She's like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. Or if you're like, hey, listen, I know I said, I live 10 minutes away, but actually it was like a 15-minute walk. I was just a little nervous that would be too far for you. She's gonna probably laugh at that, right? But if you're like, oh yeah, and I just told you that I want a relationship, but actually I'm interested in just having sex with you and that's it. She's gonna get pissed off, she's gonna get upset. Or if you're like, hey, I told you how I work at this company, well, I'm actually homeless. Or I'm actually unemployed. She's gonna get pissed off, right? So that's the litmus test I use. Is the girl gonna find it funny or is she gonna get pissed off by it, right? So that's the difference between white lie and substantial lies. I'm totally okay with white lies, but I'm not okay with the substantial lies. Now I think there's a lot of people in the pickup community who sometimes go way too far and actually tell substantial lies for the sake of getting laid. And that might give them more short-term benefits, but I think long-term, it comes back and bites you in the ass. First of all, I think it's just unethical. But second of all, like when the girl finds out later on that you're lying, and usually they do find out in the end, she's either gonna break up with you or she's gonna be upset at you. And either way, it's just gonna be a negative outcome. There's a reason why, despite all the girls I've hooked up with, all the relationships I've been, I've never really had like a bad experience with a girl I had sex with. Yeah, I've had like a few situations with a girl that like I turned down because they didn't look at their photos and they got butthurt and sent me some mean texts. But with the girls that I actually slept with, I've never really had them get pissed off afterwards. I never had a bad breakup. I've never had any kind of messy situation like that. Again, because I'm really straightforward and honest, right? And I think girls will respect you a lot more if you do that. And actually, speaking of that, I found a pretty interesting clip where Dan Bilzerian is talking about literally the same thing.
I don't want to lie about what I do or who I hang out with or whatever. So like if you're not okay with it, it's probably better that we break up because I don't plan on changing. So I think a lot of them, and a lot of times like they'll say, oh, did you have sex with that girl last night? And I'll say, yeah, I did. And I think there's like a part of it that's that's tough for them to hear and they hate it. But then there's another part that like they can appreciate the honesty, and it's very rare. Like it's very rare in this world because a lot of people will, tell lies to, protect other people's feelings or, just to make it easier.
Yeah, and he's 100% right. Like, so he's basically saying, hey, my policy is basically I'm very honest and transparent with girls and they respect that more. It may be like an inconvenient truth in the beginning, but they will respect you and appreciate you more, and it builds a lot of trust. And that's exactly how I feel. And I think that is what it takes to be successful long term. And I think in some ways, it's gonna be very refreshing for a girl to finally meet a guy who's not gonna lie to her in order to get laid. Like, hey, this is a guy who is actually honest, and as a result of that, she might be more likely to sleep with you or be in a relationship with you because she's like, whoa, I feel more comfortable with you because you're actually transparent and honest, right? So I think transparency is important. I think honesty is important, with the exception of small little white lies. realize again, and the litmus test I mentioned is the girl going to find it, or is she going to be upset by it? So that's the first thing. I think also there's some guys in the pickup community who use dark triad tactics. These are things like manipulation, gaslighting, all stuff like that. I think you should generally avoid that. I think that has a potential, again, first of all, it's very unethical. Second of all, you can get into a lot of situations where, you know, the girl gets pissed off at you. Maybe there's even a charge that's being filed because she feels really deceived. But I think third, most importantly, that shit just comes back to bite you in the ass later on. Like, I think that kind of, again, I'm not a believer in karma or anything like that, but I do think that, you know, you put out that kind of energy out there, at some point the girl is going to find out. Maybe she's going to tell stories to her friends. Maybe you're going to wind up in some Facebook group or something like that, right? And that shit is going to come back and bite you in the ass long term. So it's better just be honest and upfront from the start and avoid like some of the heavy dark triad tactics. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable and show me that you're not alive by smashing the like button, hit subscribe, and click the bell for notification. Consider sharing this video with a friend as well. Let us know in the comments what your personal set of ethics are when it comes to dating. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.